Hi, everybody. I feel like I need more than that. A lot more than that. Guys, Ryan Care is dead. Love It or Leave It is live. Let's start the show.
Love it or leave it, it's love it or leave it. Straight shoot time. Love it or leave it, it's love it or leave it. Straight on both sides.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the very first and possibly the last Love It or Leave It. I want to thank our panel. Joining us is Michaela Watkins from Casual on Hulu, which returns in May. We have Katie Nolan of FS1, the show Garbage Time, which is about sports, and we've been talking a lot about sports.
A lot.
Tennis, golf, basketball. Jon Favreau. Actually the second best presidential speechwriter on the panel today.
It's his show, guys. It's his show.
It's my time to
Here
shine.
we are.
All right, enough. Let's get into it. All right.
Let's get into it.
What a week. What a day. I don't know if you guys caught the news today. The healthcare bill failed. So this was a fascinating day. Yesterday, Donald Trump demanded a vote. He did not get that. Paul Ryan drove to the White House and said, I don't have the votes. And Trump was like, what? He was like, I don't have the votes. I said, I thought I could get the votes, and I don't have them. And Trump's like, what bill? I haven't been following it. I was playing golf in Mar-a-Lago. And then they tried to explain it, and he got distracted. He turned on CNN. Anyway, so I guess the question is sort of where do we go from here? The healthcare bill failed. I guess I want to start with Jon to talk a little bit about how the Republicans got in this mess. You know, they put themselves in a position where they proposed this bill that couldn't pass.
Yeah.
Get into it.
Yeah. The deal maker didn't succeed.
Yeah, the art of the
Trump
deal.
the deal maker. Trump he's a winner.
I felt like there was like 14 clips of Sean Spicer calling him the closer.
The closer. Didn't really close. No, I mean, what happened was they lied about Obamacare for a good 7 years. They had 7 years to come up with an alternative. They couldn't really come up with an alternative because none of them can agree on anything. And so when it came time to actually come up with a bill, because now they're in power, you had the Freedom Caucus, which is the most conservative members of the House of Representatives, the Republicans, and they basically don't want any health care. They don't believe the government should provide health care at all.
Yeah.
So they wanted a complete repeal of Obamacare. Most of the moderate Republicans didn't want that. They wanted
something less bad.
They wanted something less bad.
But still quite bad.
So so Ryan came up with a bill that took away a lot of financial assistance for people who are trying to buy health care. And then the far right said, no, we want all the financial assistance for people trying to buy health care gone. And then they fought over that. And then at the last minute, to sweeten the deal, they were like, all right, to sweeten the deal, we will take away all essential health benefits, but make the bill twice as costly.
Right.
Do we have a deal? No, we don't have a deal.
It's like, well, I mean, that's why he went bankrupt so many times. So so this was actually fascinating. So essential benefits includes things like mammograms and like pregnancy.
Going to the hospital.
No. Let the white man talk about it. Sorry. Keep going.
Can I talk about my maternity leave, Karen? Yeah.
I was gonna turn to you because it's about like lady business. So no, there was this picture. There it is up on the screen. This is an audio medium as well. Guys, Google it. There was a picture, and it was a bunch of members of the House Freedom Caucus, which is not a caucus. They don't really care that much about freedom, though they are in the House. But they're all sitting around the table talking about what aspects of women's health to cut out of the bill, and lo and behold, they forgot to tell a lady to go.
Boob stuff.
There's just a group
I would
of
love
old...
to hear that conversation. What if we got rid of the thing where they smush the boob into the thing? Like, they don't know anything. Those men have not seen a vagina in years.
But so anyway, I believe Senator Pat Roberts made a joke, and the joke was about essential benefits. Yeah, they're going to cut my mammogram. And then like 5 minutes later, he was like, I should not have said that.
I'm sure these guys are not like, Now, next on the list are hard-ons. And they're like, covered. Yeah, we're good, covered. Yeah, Viagra, we're good on that. Okay, so include that. That's cool. Okay, yeah, pass it on. Good. Okay.
Does this cover mammograms for our mistresses?
It's actually better if they die of cancer. That eliminates the whole problem. So.
Right. Oh my God.
I'm thinking one step
Or, no,
ahead.
you
You
got
don't
it.
have to break the news to the wife. She died.
Now, one
Tragically.
thing. I love it.
Yeah.
We're keeping it very. This is not Pod Save America. This is Love It or Leave It, and it
Dive
is
right
very.
in.
It is very
It
loose.
is love it or leave it.
It has a very different vibe, and I really like it so far. Anybody want to love it or leave it so far? All right, terrific.
How many times are we going to do that?
So one thing that Sean Spicer said today when the bill was sort of heading towards the Andes Mountain, the plain of the bill, where they're going to live but eat each other, was President Trump left it all on the field. Now, Katie, I believe that is a term from sports.
It is a sport thing.
Now, do athletes, when they leave it all on the field, pay attention for 2 weeks, play golf half the time, and never find out what the rules are?
Yes. Yeah. And they also often discuss that one of their strongest, their strengths is something they end up not at all being able to do.
Right.
Like another thing Sean Spicer said today, I think, was something along the lines of like, yeah, he is a great negotiator, but he can't make people do something they don't want to do. And it was like, that's negotiating. That's what that is. If a person walks in and goes, I'm already in, you don't have to sell me, that's not negotiation. That's an easy sell is what that's called.
They shouldn't have the problem was they just shouldn't have included care into the name of it because they were like, because we don't care. So how do we act like we care but not care? And then I think that's where they got into a lot of trouble.
Yeah, no, I think they got themselves all mixed up. No, but that's actually a really good point because they're in this sort of bind, which is that Americans believe they deserve health care, but the Republican caucus doesn't believe that they do. I mean,
They do want to keep their jobs, though.
They love their jobs.
We want to keep our jobs.
Well, it has great benefits.
They want to keep their health care. But they're in a tough part. The problem was that after Obamacare passed, like the American public, even though they have problems with Obamacare, believes there is a right to affordable medical care.
Right.
The Republicans have never believed that.
Right, and that's
so they're in a little bit of a bind.
Right, it's actually like a genuine ideological difference, right? That they don't necessarily believe it's the government's job to provide health care, but they're in this sort of that's what they ended up with, sort of bastardized version of Obamacare, because half their caucus is ready to play that game, but the other half is like, we like being in Congress.
It seems so smart that Obama was like, just taste it. Just taste. Just taste.
Taste that
insurance.
sweet insurance.
And look, if you don't like insurance, you don't ever have to have insurance again. But if you like it, I mean, I'm just saying, taste it. Don't knock it till you try it. And everybody's like, I fucking love insurance.
So he's like a healthcare dealer outside of a middle school. It turns out you can't write a healthcare bill in like 2 days. It's like super hard.
No?
Trump couldn't answer one question about what's in that bill.
He has no
He
idea.
couldn't speak for 30 seconds about what's in that bill.
Over under percentage of it that he's read. I'll set it at 30%.
0%.
is the answer.
None?
Keep in mind, his
No,
only
nothing.
contact with the medical system is a lunatic doctor on the Upper East Side. Like, there's no...
But no,
who gives him his Propecia and tells him that his heart is okay enough.
Unless there's a war that they need him to
Yeah,
be in, and then
that's
his
right.
heart is so
Oh, then he's
bad,
got
like
the
the
shin
worst.
splints.
No heart is worse.
Politico had a great little bit from this, which is like Trump's only contribution to the whole bill was Ryan wanted to talk about the 3 different stages of the healthcare bill as 3 different buckets, and Trump's like, no one likes the word buckets. Call it phases. That was it. That was all he had to do.
And then it was
all right,
like,
you take it from here.
Then it was watch this
Hey,
drive.
I have a conspiracy. Because, like, here's
I'm
the
into
thing.
it.
You do? Are you?
Yes, I want to know what that's going to
cool.
be.
I have a ton. 'Cause
Okay,
I have
great.
a real imagination. Anyway, but also, like, what's going to be the downshot? And I think it's that this has been my conspiracy theory, that I think that Trump never wanted this to work because, okay, just follow me on this.
I'm in. I am
Because-
on the hook.
Because he's just going to do what Hillary was trying to do all along, which is just
Lose the White House? What's she going to do?
Wait.
What's she going to do? She's just a lady in Chappaqua.
that was so low. That I think that if this fails, right, then they're forced to work on what they have, which is kind of a cool thing that needs some work, and then it does work. People have insurance. Everybody's happy, and he gets all the fucking credit.
Well, I do think that like there is a world where Trump could have been like what he said he was going to be, which is this sort of populist that defies like the partisan wisdom, right? He could have done he could have done infrastructure first or taxes first. He could have done a healthcare bill that really was about fixing Obamacare and doing what he said he wanted to do, which was insurance for everybody,
Right.
which is just something that he knew sounded good.
Right.
Anyway, the bill failed. That's terrific for everybody. Yay. Moving on, we also learned this week that James Comey has been investigating Trump and his associates since July.
I can't believe that was this week.
Very cool. Very cool.
That was Monday.
That was Monday. Feels like a lifetime ago.
That was good. I like that.
That's the
Cue the theme song.
that's the bell that lets us know it happened on Monday. But anyway, not only did we find out that he's been investigating Trump since July, we found out that he was investigating Trump when he announced that he was investigating Hillary. Very cool. Very cool. James Comey is so cool. I'm like such a fan of his. He wears such a sharp suit. He's very serious. He definitely thinks of himself as like a really good guy.
What do you think this guy thinks? Like when he's like, Lord Jesus, thank you for this warm food. Like, do you think he's like, what is my role in the big scheme of things? Like, am I helping humanity or hurting? I have no fucking idea.
Well, I feel like he thinks that if he wears the suit well enough and says things like, I'm doing a physical body expression for a podcast, but it's sort of like,
It works.
I saw Jimmy Stewart once. And this is how he would behave. I think he thinks he's going to come out on top.
But I feel like he's like, now Jeff, my brother, he's the crazy one. Like, how'd I get here?
Well, yeah, he definitely wakes up some mornings and he's like, what? I just was an FBI guy. Now I'm going to Congress like 3 times a week.
And
Sent a letter. Everyone hates me now.
Yeah, well, that was,
Then
I mean,
they
here's
love me, and then they hate me, and I don't.
Yeah.
What am I?
Well, so he testified this week, and the thing that he said, which was news, was that he's been investigating Trump this whole time. Ha-ha! And then after that, he's like, I can't tell you anything else. Speculate like crazy. You're on your own, people. Ask me any question you want, you dumb Congress people. I won't say a fucking word. I'm investigating Trump. It's very serious. No more details.
Yeah, now he's just drunk with power.
Yeah, he loves it. Actually, there's a ton of stuff he could tell us.
Yeah.
He's just like spacing it out.
He is. He's like, I want to come back next season.
No, but but this is something we were talking about upstairs, which is that like this story is impossible to keep up with. That every day you're trying to figure out like what's the truth, right? You see Adam Schiff, who's a Democrat on the Intelligence Committee, saying Trump, it's probably treason, and then you see Devin Nunes, who's the Nunes. What we're saying,
Nunes.
Nunes.
We decided Nunes.
We're settling on Nunes. Anyway, what I found is it's kind of hard to figure out what's going on with this whole Russia story because you get so distracted.
But you said Nunez was where.
Oh yeah, so you have Schiff saying one thing and Nunes saying another. I guess the question is sort of, we're in the middle of this long-term investigation. We're not really going to know what happened for a long time. How does this affect how we fight back at Trump, right? Where a lot of us, those of us who believe that we need to do what we can to prevent Trump's agenda to what?
I just love that you're asking an actress. Like, how do we fight back against all this?
Well,
I'll tell you. Okay, thank you for asking me.
So first you get nominated for a SAG award. Then when you accept it, you go fucking crazy. And that's how you stop Trump. My question here is Trump legitimate? No, but so the
Yes.
question is, so what do we do with this, right? So the Democrats this week are taking this information about the Russia investigation, and they're saying, we're going to stop the Gorsuch nomination, right? We're not going to let Gorsuch's nomination go forward without a fight because the Russia stuff delegitimizes Trump's ability to nominate somebody.
And for like 50 other reasons.
For 100
There's
other,
a billion
ton of
other reasons, but like, cool, we'll use that one.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, whatever.
It seems fine. So I guess the question is like, what do we do with all this Russia information? How do we use it in our politics? It's going to take months for it to play out. John, you're in politics.
Yeah, we just gotta
Dad.
wait. We gotta wait, guys.
Oh, that's so boring.
No, I know, but like, look, the FBI is on their own timeline here. It's an investigation. Like, they're basically waiting for a source to turn, basically, and to find out more information. So it's not like, look, Adam Schiff today.
How do you know this? This is fascinating.
I don't. I'm talking seriously, and it's like looks
I know,
like I
do you
have information.
An FBI in?
I don't have an FBI in.
He does. He does. He's got
I
secret
can't say it.
information.
I'm going to be hauled before
Let's just say his
Congress.
source rhymes with Bodger Stone.
Well, so Devin Nunes today
Nunes.
canceled a hearing. Nunes, I said it. Try it again. Nunez.
No,
no,
Nunes.
Nunes.
No.
Nunes. I know. I know.
Nunes.
There's no Enye. There's no
Nunes
Enye.
is
I
a
know. I know.
rapist.
What's it called?
I took
Nunes.
Spanish. It's an
A
Enye.
beignet?
It's an Enye.
Maybe this is
Here's
too
Spanish
loose.
right here.
Thoughts?
Is it loose?
Are we loving it or are we leaving it?
Cue the music.
I want applause when I
wanna
do
do
that. And I still don't have it. Go on.
They left
I bet
it.
his girlfriend calls him Noonies. I'm just saying. I would.
that's sweet.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was a public hearing today. There was supposed to be a public hearing with James Clapper, the former director of national intelligence, Sally Yates, the former deputy attorney general, and all these other people. And there was going to be a public hearing about Russia stuff. And then Nunes just decided to cancel it. So there's things like that, and Adam Schiff complained. He's the counterpart on the Intelligence Committee, the Democrat. Like, there's things like that where the Republicans, and specifically Nunes, are going to try to cover up for Trump or try to protect Trump, right? And so I think we can make sure that this is investigated in a bipartisan way, that there's an independent investigation. We can call for all this stuff, but like that's basically all we
What's
can
in
do.
it for him?
Yeah, I was gonna say, can I ask a dumb question? Like, why?
Why would they
I
cover
get
for
that
him?
everything is bipartisan, like everything is partisan now.
Yeah.
But like, why would you look at that motherfucking idiot and go,
Right.
"That's our guy. Let's help that guy."
I feel like they're looking at a horse that was barfing like, right before the race, and they're like, "Oh, the money on that guy."
You know, it's a great question.
The barfing horse.
It's very common
Oh
in
no, we
sports.
put all our money on the
very
barfing horse.
Yeah.
That horse is ill. It won't run fast. Not like.
All the money.
Okay, so why are they still with the barfing horse? Well, I think that they think that the Republican Party's future is tied up with Trump, and they know that their base likes Trump,
they're fucked.
and so they're afraid.
Devin Nunes, in 100% of photos, looks scared.
He looks like he doesn't know.
He looks like he looks like he's in a Sears photo shoot. But the photographer just whispered in his ear, "I really know your wife well." And then started snapping. It's an audio medium. John did the face.
It is.
Yeah,
Go do it. Go do it.
I think Devin Nunes fell in with a bad crowd.
Yeah.
And he's facing some pretty
Took
bad
a
peer
wrong
pressure.
turn somewhere.
I think Devin Nunes would have smoked in high school because the cool kids were smoking in high school.
Yeah.
I think we should move on.
No, he's terrible.
Moving on. There we go. How are people going to know we're moving on? Gorsuch nomination. I have two names for this section. Gorsuch a bummer. And we're in the Gorsuchation room. I just think he's going to be around for a while, so we're going to workshop it every week. Unless we don't do this again. Which I'm putting at 30-70. It's really important. It seems like he's probably going to get confirmed no matter what we do, and it's super sad because Merrick Garland deserves that seat, but we kind of got screwed out of it, and there's nothing really to say. Thoughts?
Oh, that's a real bummer.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Really?
Next topic.
Why not?
I mean, I don't know.
Who cares, right?
So many filibusters.
Sorry, the bell's here.
Who cares?
Supreme Court nomination.
Who cares?
Next.
It's just my pussy that this guy. Oh, shucks. That's the guy I want making decisions about my vagina. Oh, geez, you know. Bessie showed me hers once, and I gotta tell you, I just, you know, so it's just it's a wonderland.
He's been looking forward to being in charge of your vagina for his entire professional career.
He's gonna call it the Down Dares.
The nether region.
The whole Supreme Court thing really sucks. And I just think
That's deep.
But it is the sort of like we all just want to we want to like filibuster and try to stop it, but we can also take a moment to just be quite sad about it.
Is for life a good idea?
No. Well, when they started that, I feel like people lived to 35 if they were lucky. Like it feels like
Same
it
with
feels
marriage.
Like they treated all illnesses with like hemlock or something. They're like
Blow on
here's
it."
some root beer for your cancer, and it didn't work, and then you were not on the court anymore.
That's okay.
President Chelsea Clinton will appoint somebody cool.
Don't do it, love it. Don't do it.
What are you afraid I'm going to say? That if she runs, I'm going to primary her?
I did it. I successfully baited you into it.
So I want to move off this topic. And Something that sort of was a little bit under the radar this week is the Senate voted to repeal Obama-era FCC protections for internet privacy. And I think this didn't get enough attention because the president is a corrupt moron. And other Republicans tried to kill all the old people. And this went under the radar. And I wanted to run through some of the things that this repeal would cause. If Congress succeeds, according to the Electronic Frontier Foundation, which is a great group, internet service providers like Verizon and others would be able to sell data to marketers, hijack your searches, and give you other results. You didn't know this. Did you know this?
Oh my God.
Did you know this has happened? Applaud if you knew this was happening. Applaud if you didn't know it was happening. Smart group.
I clapped twice. I clapped twice.
They can insert ads
really
into
likes
your
to clap.
traffic based on your searches. They can record every site you visit, and they can download onto your phone an undetectable, undeletable tracking cookie that they or any company can use.
Like that U2 album that we all got
yes.
on our phone.
It's the U2 album, but it knows
don't
what.
want this. I've deleted it 3 times. It's not good.
It's the U2 album that knows all the porn you like. My question is, Michaela,
Oh, Jesus.
what sites have you been visiting lately? It's time to tell us, because we're gonna know anyway.
You're going to know. House with 2 Z's.
Oh, you're buying some rugs?
Yeah, looking.
Do little shopping?
Yeah.
Little online
A
shopping?
lamp. Everything you said is horrifying.
It's horrifying.
Horrifying.
And it's happening right now. Like, we can maybe stop it right now by, like, calling our members of
hasn't
Congress.
passed the House yet.
It hasn't passed the House yet.
It needs to pass the House. President needs to sign it.
You guys got to do some calling.
Oh
You can
my
do some
God.
calling? You people doing some more activism than usual?
He's going to sign
I want to
it.
believe you.
He loves signing things. He's got a new pen just for signing.
So I guess the question I had is, so we were talking about this also earlier. It's like, there's so much stuff going on. How do we keep focused on these crazy important fights that are smaller than the fact that there's basically a treason investigation going on, that they're trying to repeal Obamacare, that part of the Trump strategy is to kind of, swamp us with stuff all at once. And then under the radar, they're doing things like this. They're repealing a bunch of regulations. Like, how do we handle that? How do we keep focused on these littler big fights?
Suicide, I think.
It's the only...
I don't know.
the only way out.
There's only so much room in here for stuff, like politics stuff. So when I read 3 articles and I'm like, I wish I was done now. It's like, but wait, there's 6 more that are still super important.
And they were written while you were reading the
and
first
then I'm
3.
like, yeah. Oh, I'm like, but when's the nap? Like, I need a nice political nap. Oh,
Sad.
thanks.
I mean,
Sorry,
I
I'm
could
sorry.
give an earnest answer.
I want an earnest answer.
Okay, so what you just said, when I think about that, I distill it down. One time I met this kid who gets 4 quarters for his allowance, super cheap. But, what he does is he saves 1 quarter for, 1 quarter goes to something he can use that day. The second quarter goes into a 3-month sort of bank account, and then a more long-term, like a short-term bank account, a more long-term bank account, and then a life savings. So 25% goes. And I think when I wake up in the morning and I think, what am I going to do? I sort of apply that. I do okay, I'm going to call somebody about the thing that's happening right now on my Twitter feed. And then I have the thing that's more short-term, which is I don't know, the Russia thing, okay?
Right.
And then more half long-term thing, which is the 2018 elections, flipping counties and stuff like that. And then I do the 4th thing, which is the thing we're going to be dealing with forever, which is women's issues. So that's sort of my thing.
That's the smartest thing I've ever heard.
Just for
I really like that.
Wow.
Is this
That's
little?
a great way to deal with it.
Is the little kid real? You met a very financially smart
This is a
little
kid.
child.
Met him at a brunch.
Does he own the restaurant? This kid sounds awesome.
This kid was really awesome. This was the mom's idea, but yeah. But let's give the kid credit.
Yeah, for sure. Because
Let's
the mom
take it
sounds
away
crazy.
from the woman.
Good point.
And that's the week in news. Ding! When we come back, a segment we call Play by Play.
Nice.
Jesse, I need the bell again. Okay. Play by Play when we come back. Love It or Leave It is brought to you by Harry's Razors. But I brought my friend Jon Favreau here to help me do the ads because I don't think I'm up to it.
Here I am, guys. Here I am. Lovett, did you know that Harry's was started by two guys, Jeff and Andy, who were fed up with being overcharged for razors?
Do you think they don't use their last name because they're Jeff and Andy Trump?
They decided to start their own razor company to give guys everywhere what they deserve, which is a great shave at a fair price.
I actually was quite looking forward to my Harry's Razor subscription because
You were not getting a good shave.
I was just,
and it was not a good price.
It was so expensive, John.
That's the thing. Razors are expensive, but not Harry's. $2 a blade compared to the $4 or more you'll pay at the drugstore. And they include everything you need for a close, comfortable shave. Do you know what those things are? No, you don't.
I don't. I'm looking now.
They're 5 German-engineered blades, a lubricating strip, flex hinge for a comfortable glide.
Flex hinge? Comfortable glide?
Trimmer blade for hard-to-reach places. And a
What?
What?
Like what? Paul Ryan's conscience?
And a weighted ergonomic handle so that you don't get a cramp and then have to use Zeal. Harry's is so confident in the quality of their blades, they want you to try their most popular trial set for free.
I've been doing that.
Okay.
I've been doing that.
Comes with a razor handle of your choice, 5-blade cartridge, and shaving gel. It's free when you sign up. Just pay a small fee for shipping. To redeem your free trial offer, go to harrys.com/loveit.
Yeah, that's right. harrys.com/LOVETT. Yeah, that's right. My brand is so strong, it gets you cheaper stuff in the world. harrys.com/loveit.
Go today.
And we're back. Now for a segment we're calling play-by-play. Now that's a sports term, which I believe is about badminton.
Yup.
And they when they hit the shuttlecock, that's one part of the play.
Yeah.
And then it goes across the net.
Yeah.
And there's more play, and you
Yeah.
break it down.
Yeah. That's
right?
Yeah, that's right. Checks
All right,
out.
great.
It's just a badminton term, play by play. That's why it's so popular. That's why we all use it. And
So in this segment, we're going to watch some news, and as it goes, we're going to break it down as best we can.
Great.
We're going to yell pause. If you guys want us to stop, you can yell pause, and we're just going to walk through it, all right? And maybe it's something interesting, maybe it's not. That's what makes this a first show. Let's roll the clip.
Is there anyone in the White House who can say to you, Mr. President, please don't tweet that, who you would listen to?
Okay, stop. I just don't want us to move on before we recognize that we live in a world where Tucker Carlson, who's a villain in every other story, is the hero of this story, who has to ask the president if he lets anybody look at his tweets before he tweets them.
while we're stopped, is this going to be one of those, is it Chrysler commercials where a hidden door opens up and another car comes out? There's so many cars.
A lot going on there.
This was so here's the thing, we're falling right into Trump's hands because no matter what we talk about, we're just going to think Trump's good for cars. That's the whole point. Should we keep moving?
Yeah,
I
keep
think
moving.
so.
I think that maybe I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Twitter because I get such a fake press, such a dishonest press. I mean, if you look at, and I'm not including Fox because I think Fox has been fair to me.
Stop.
Fox employee.
That's not the Fox I work for. It is, but Fox Sports, very different arm. I just didn't want to have that reflect on me. You can go. Sorry.
But if you look at CNN and if you look at these other networks, NBC, I made a fortune for NBC with The Apprentice. I
Okay,
had
stop. Not the point.
Well,
He lost the train there for a little bit.
he definitely loses. The question was, does anyone look at your tweets? And he's like, oh, the NBC's fucking me.
Exactly. I feel like this is his version of Rickroll.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes, he just goes right into it.
No matter what. And someone at some point is like, oh, you fucking did it, man.
But I feel like we've watched politicians do that like effortlessly in the last few decades, and now it's like watching someone go, they said if you want to not answer the question, answer a different question, so I'm gonna just answer a different, and you're like, oh my god, you suck at this. You're doing it anyway. You get points for that.
He's not good at this, but he does it anyway.
Does it anyway.
show where they were doing horribly, and I had one of the most successful reality shows of all time. I was on for 14 seasons, and you see what happened when I'm not on. You saw what happened to the show. It was a disaster.
Stop. He's still the executive producer of that show.
He's not on top of everything else, and obviously we have bigger fish to fry. He's a very, very bad executive producer of The Apprentice.
bad.
His one job is to say nice things about it at this point.
But I think it's what he does on purpose. I think that what he does is he's like, look, I'm going to get the people who love me are going to watch The Apprentice. That's fine. The people who don't, if I say how bad it is, they're going to watch it too. I think it's all part of a thing.
You think he's just trying to drum
No,
up
I
ratings?
think in his mind it's just like me.
Exactly.
Me.
He's the executive producer of our country right now. And when the healthcare thing didn't go through, he said the real losers here are the Democrats. It's like, first of all, it's you. You literally lost. Second of all, it's the American people, and you're supposed to at least pretend you care about them getting health care or not. And instead, you say, it's those fucking Democrats. Like, no. You're supposed to pretend that you wanted this bill because you thought it was good for the American people, and he can't even fake it. He's like, I lost, but I didn't really lose. They lost.
And also the way that, like, Obama knocked on every congressman, senator's door on both sides of the aisle. Is like, hey, man, cool office. What'd you do here? Like, Trump never, like, do you think he walked up to a single Democrat and was like, hey, sup?
Hi.
Healthcare. So.
Well, tell me about the bill. Do you know anything about the bill?
See these cars?
Your
Check out
mouth
the
goes
cars.
down like power windows. But
I was on The Apprentice for 13 years.
Is your refrigerator running out? I also just want to pause and just he says that NBC should treat him well about Apprentice ratings from 14 years ago, like Lester Holt is being mean, and then he gets a call from upstairs. Like, did you not know that he was on The Apprentice? He's one of our guys.
What are you doing?
No
doing, Lester?
infighting. No infighting.
Should we keep moving?
Yeah,
So
let's do
I
it.
was very good to NBC, and they are despicable. They're despicable in their coverage. CBS, ABC. You take a look at what's going on. I call it the fake press, the fake media. It is a disgrace what's happening. So,
But then they say to you, but you're, I mean, as you know, the response, look, so you had this big
Pause
speech
for a second. First of all, the question was, what about your tweets? Also, Tucker Carlson chickened out of saying, but you're fake. He wanted to say, but you're fake. You're the fake one. You've been fake this whole time. But Tucker couldn't do it. Tucker didn't have the chops.
session on Tuesday. You had great press all week, bipartisan, and then you let off this tweet, and immediately
No,
people
it wasn't
say,
that tweet.
Stop. Yes, it was the tweet. It absolutely was the tweet. The tweet is why he was in this mess. He tweeted that Barack Obama wiretapped his phones. That was why he got bad press.
But he meant it in quotes, which he couldn't
Right,
have just tweeted.
Which also wasn't
Quotes.
true. It also wasn't true.
Yeah,
he
he
didn't
didn't-
put it in quotes.
He didn't quote. Yeah, right. He also didn't use
didn't
the quote.
quote it.
Right.
Nothing he said
If
is
it was
true.
in quotes, it
Wait,
was
wait,
like
wait
a
a
print.
second.
You could have put the quotes around it, but it's not like you said it out loud and forgot to do this.
But also, sometimes he uses quotes for words he wants to emphasize. He doesn't know what the quotes are for anyway.
He spelled tap, T-A-P-P. Like, he doesn't know.
The real losers are the
anything.
Democrats.
Yeah, that was in
Not
quotes.
America. What? What are you doing?
Or
He's the
people.
worst.
you guys are kind of making it sound like Trump's a liar. But also, did you see the thing that the Trump campaign sent out, like that said, we're taking a survey, and do you stand behind Donald Trump,
Yes.
or do you believe Democrats and fake news? Like, those are your two choices.
It's like,
Those were your two
ooh, I don't know.
choices. I have to commit to the fake news if I commit to Democrats. That feels sneaky.
Play.
They had
You can't
other
back up what you
things.
say.
Excuse me. I had a very successful night, joint session. It was
Right.
very successful. I got reviews even from people that I would never think I was going to get
Pause.
good reviews. I got-
True.
Van Jones.
True.
Fuck that guy.
No.
Love him, but I kind of hated him that night.
I
Because
just
I was
think that-
like, what?
Donald Trump became president that night.
Yes, that is
That
so
doesn't mean
hyperbolic.
anything. He was president the whole time. We're moving on.
And then all of a sudden they came up with a new dialogue in order to kill that. So that speech was hot for about 2 or
Dialogue.
3 hours after the speech was made because they came
Stop.
up with...
I'm sorry, this isn't really like policy related, but have you noticed that both of them like tuck their faces into their shirts? Literally, just like, I'm gonna put that in there. Just what you'll see on Tucker Carlson.
Tucker face in his
Conspiracy
shirt.
theory. All right, sorry, go ahead. That was so mean. But go ahead.
other things having to do with other people that they shouldn't have been able to do and they shouldn't have done, but they did it. And you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Stop. No, we don't. That nothing he said in the last 15 seconds makes any sense whatsoever.
Lost
They
the
did
thread,
it. You
President
know.
Trump.
You know they did it, and they did that thing you know they did. That's what he
Not
said.
honest, much of the news. It's
He's
not
back on
honest. And when I have close to 100 million people watching me on Twitter, including Facebook, including all of the Instagram.
Pause. It's, look, least of our problems, but that's a lot of double counting. Like, those are not all unique users.
And he said on Twitter, including Facebook.
He just thinks it's
my
all the other Instagrams.
Yeah.
and all the other Instagrams.
But
And all the
man, these are
FaceTimes.
his night-night words. When he's like, tells his son-in-law, like, tell me the good night-night words. And he's like, 100 million people listen to you. And he's
Yes,
like,
including lots of things, but we have, I guess pretty close to 100 million people. I have my own form of media. So, if I tweet 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 times a day, and if most of them are good, and I really want them all to be good, but if I make one
Stop.
mistake...
This sounds like me at the end of the day in my mirror. If you tweeted 3 times today, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Like, he's president of the United States, and his standard is like, I hope that most of my tweets today were good.
Yo, I got
Good
mad
tweets. I
retweets
got some
today,
good
son.
tweets today.
Has anyone ever noticed if you check the timestamps of when he does that thing where he annoyingly doesn't know how to stack tweets because he doesn't understand
No,
the
he
internet works?
just learned to thread the tweets.
Oh, he
the
did?
The Raptors testing the fences now.
Yo.
He's learned to thread the tweets.
But have you noticed, if you go back and look when he would do like the 3-parters and you had to like click them independently to see when he uses like an ellipsis that's 15 dots, which is you don't get to pick the dots. There were 8 minutes between each tweet, and it was like, did you go to the bathroom? Like
He did,
you were
yes.
mid-sentence and then went, huh?
Also,
And
a
then
lot
did
of them,
something else, and then finished your sentence. That's insane.
a lot of them though, also like they'd inadvertently be very negative about him. They'd be like, I'm a huge douchebag. Next tweet is what I say about Democrats.
It's like if you know this many people are listening and you care, you wouldn't send out half of an unformed thought, which could get picked up and taken out of context. He just doesn't fucking care.
And it's just another pause to remember, this is a crazy nightmare we're living in. Donald Trump is president. Fuck. Let's keep going.
Well, I don't think he's going to prove to be a mistake at all.
Do you think it's okay to make? Because the counter argument, even from people who support you, who say, "Look, I support Donald Trump. I believe what he believes, and I want him to succeed badly." But if the president says
he was required to say those things. He had to work it into at some point into the interview.
Rupert Murdoch was standing behind him with a kind of one of those electric prods.
What's that metal
Just
thing?
Say
fierce
the
look.
nice
Yeah, it's
things.
like an engine
be
behind
proved
Tucker.
or is demonstrably untrue,
Well, let's see
he
whether or not I
devalues his
prove
own
it.
currency.
Let's see whether or not I proved it. You looked at some proof. I mean, let's see whether or not I prove it. I just don't choose to do
Stop.
it right now.
He didn't prove it.
Nunez, what you doing? What you doing Wednesday?
Right. This is all led to making poor, sad Devin Nunes, peer pressure victim, vaguely a member of Congress, driving on up to the White House and saying, I think President Trump is okay. I think there's some truth to what he was saying.
I choose to do it before the committee, and maybe I'll do it before the committee. Maybe I'll do it before I see the result of the committee. But I think we have some very good stuff, and we're in the process.
Sorry, the fuck.
He lost the thread. He has no idea what he's talking about.
We don't know what the committee is.
What
we
committee?
don't know what he's talking
He's
about.
never brought up. We didn't cut out the part where they were talking about a committee.
Nope.
There's just
He's a terrible gaslighter. And I say this as somebody who honestly had a boyfriend who gambled away all my money and told me that he was buying an engagement ring.
Wait, you dated Dan too?
He is like awful because at least with gaslighting you don't know it's happening. Like you see everything that this guy is doing. So
it's true. It's gaslighting for the most misleadable.
It's gaslighting for the people who go on, basically are like on QVC and they're like, real diamonds. Real diamonds for $10.99.
I actually think it's hybrid lighting because I think that's a Prius. So it's technically not gas. Good joke. Let's play the clip.
Of putting it together, and I think it's going to be very demonstrative. But just on Twitter, if I don't do that, I won't get my word out. Because when I say things, the press doesn't cover it accurately. They
You're
cover
on
it
TV
very
right now.
inaccurately. Much of the press. Some of the press, by the way, some of the finest people I know are reporters. Reporters are wonderful. I'm talking about the fake media, the fake news. And there's a lot of fake news. So if
Stop. Like Breitbart? Like
Yeah,
Steve
Breitbart.
Bannon? Like, what are you talking
Tucker
about?
Carlson.
I don't like, no, not reporters. I love reporters. It's reporters who say what I don't like.
Right.
That's all that is.
I just also, the question was, would you please let somebody at least read the tweets before you tweet them?
And this is where we ended up.
All an answer to that one question.
Have you discovered the drafts folder?
His drafts
where you can
folder.
save it, think about it later, and then tweet.
His drafts folder is awful.
It's empty.
If they're not going to do me the honor and the public the honor of spreading my word accurately as it was meant, and you know exactly what I'm talking about because there's been nobody in history that got more dishonest media than I've gotten. You look at some of the stories in the New York Times. You look at some of the stories in the Washington Post. Take a look at what's going on with CBS.
Stop.
The way he talks about the New York Times is seriously like he is such a jilted lover.
He loves
He
it.
called them today to tell them that the healthcare bill was dead. That was his call. He called the New York Times.
He calls the Post and he calls the New York Times. He talks to like Maggie Haberman and like Glenn Thrush like they're besties. Every time the New York Times writes a story that's about like what's happening behind the scenes, they're the fucking best stories. It's like Donald Trump was wearing a bathrobe and here's exactly what he said because he told us. And then they're like, I wasn't wearing a bathrobe. It was actually technically a kimono. How dare you? Failing New York Times. I knew where the light switch was. I just didn't know. It's like, if the New York Times doesn't want to date me and wants to see other people, I'm like so done with them.
And NBC in particular, and ABC.
Back on topic.
And take a look at CNN. It's a complete hit job. No matter what you do, no matter how good, no matter how great it is, they don't report it in a positive fashion.
Stop. That's fair, because I don't remember ever hearing about anything great Trump did. So maybe he has a point.
That's true.
Or, oh shit, is it because he hasn't done anything great?
No.
Oh, that's my bad. Sorry, go ahead.
Mediator.
Sure it does. Sure.
You show your
Sometimes
staff.
He's still, by the way, just pause. Tucker is still just trying to get Trump to say, I'll let somebody look at the tweets first. That's all sad Fox News Tucker Carlson wants. Just say, hey, I'll let I'll let Sean Spicer just peruse the tweet before I hit send. And Trump's like, no. The Apprentice was a huge hit. Fuck you.
Something, and I'll say, what do you think about this? A lot of times my staff comes to me and they say, could you do a tweet or this or that because
Okay,
it's not
stop.
being...
That's a lie. Nobody.
No one has ever asked him to tweet anything.
Could you do a tweet?
Did you?
That's like, hey girl, you want to do sex to each other? Like, go do a tweet, Trumpy.
Also, they're like scared to death outside the room. Like, you go in.
I need to see the president. I need to ask him if he'll do a tweet. Guys, can I see
They're like-
5 minutes for a tweet?
They all hate him. Yeah. All of the people at the White House don't like Donald Trump.
Yeah.
They think he's a ridiculous and terrible person. And that's Play by Play.
Love It or Leave It is also brought to you by Pro Flowers.
Have you ever forgotten your anniversary?
No.
If you're not nodding yes, you're lying.
Oh, yeah, I'm lying.
You know those people that are just hard to shop for? Well, we're going to make it easy for you. Pro Flowers is the crooked media go-to for flowers.
It genuinely is now.
It's always been.
Okay.
They're fresh, priced right, and are a perfect gift for literally anyone. And they get delivered straight to the recipient's door. How easy is that?
I will say, I recently received some Pro Flowers.
You did?
From Pro Flowers. Because they wanted us to see what it was like. And I actually genuinely really liked them. And they lasted a long time.
They've been on our coffee table for a long time
I was
now.
actually
Emily was
shocked.
very happy about the Pro Flowers.
I really like Pro Flowers. And like, I'm not like I wasn't like, until this company, I was a really big flower person.
Is that true?
I love flowers. I love arranging them. I love
How many times have
seeing
you
them.
helped my fiance arrange flowers?
On the regular.
I think you're probably involved in the flowers for our wedding.
I am. I forgot about that. We got to talk to Emily about that. But and I really like Pro Flowers.
Yeah, so here's a special offer for Love It or Leave It listeners. Get $10 off your first purchase of $29 or more. And of course, you should be spending $29 or more on flowers. What are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing?
This deal works on best-selling gifts like their 100 Blooms bouquet, a dozen red roses, or even their totally unique plant gifts. To snag this great deal, just go to proflowers.com and enter code LOVEIT at checkout.
The look on John's face when he has to say my name as a coupon code is a delight that I only wish I could share with you.
I'm sort of getting used to it. It's just like a little vomit in my throat first.
Okay, well, let's not have that like sort of reflect on the brand. All right, we're trying to build a business here. Proflowers.com. Enter the code LOVEIT at checkout.
We now move on to a segment called Who Sucks the Most? This week it will be Devin Nunes versus Paul Ryan.
Death match.
Devin Nunes said he had evidence that proved that Trump was vindicated on the wiretap. He is supposed to be doing oversight of Donald Trump. Instead, he drove to the White House, told Donald Trump, called a press conference, didn't tell the committee, and then had to apologize 3 days later because he's not that bright. On the other side, we have Paul Ryan, who this week said that he's been dreaming of cutting Medicaid since back in the day when he used to drink at keggers, which is we all know that guy from college, and he's the worst.
Here's the thing, though. Wasn't he 27 in that story?
He was.
Why you go into a kegger at 27 unless you're trying to fuck underage girls or something, allegedly?
That's
like
really good
27 keggers?
Maybe he's just trying to
actually.
stay in touch with his youth and not feel as though his 20s are slipping through his fingers, that he wants to spend his 20s because they're never going to come around again.
27? That's old.
I feel like we cannot comment.
I would never drink out of a keg at 27.
Who was worse?
Well, I don't know. Jesus, it's like you're asking about
Who's worse?
melanoma or gunshot wounds. I mean, at least with melanoma, I feel like you could, if you get it early enough and cut it out, you can survive it. You have a little scar. A gunshot wound, this guy, he's like, you could die. He's going to kill us all. So I'm going to say he's worse.
Ryan's worse?
Yeah.
Just for people at home, melanoma was Nuna's. We're keeping it loose. It's Friday. Katie?
Oh, man. I feel like Nunes doesn't know any better.
So you think Nunes is just a useful idiot?
No, I think he's just an idiot. I don't think he's useful.
Useless
and generous.
idiot.
So Ryan's worse?
I just think Ryan. Yeah. You want me to give a quick answer? Yes, Ryan's worse.
John?
Easily Paul Ryan.
You're all wrong. Nunes' work, undermining the separation of powers. If we don't have somebody in place who can stop Donald Trump, we're lost.
Oh, yeah, gotcha.
We're lost.
I don't think
Vote. Nunes or Ryan? Nunes? Ryan?
They're like, who? He's just more
Bunch of fucking
known.
sheep out there.
He's been.
Moving on to a segment we call Something Awesome.
Whoa.
So we were all quite sad when Donald Trump became president, but then there was an we're just have to do something nice because it's been very rough and it's a lot of ranting. So we're just going to lighten it up. We were all quite sad when Donald Trump became president.
Now that I found out he's a liar, yeah, I guess I'm pretty sad about that.
And so there was this question, so what are we going to do in response to Donald Trump? Where all these new groups popped up, all these new organizations like Indivisible. And this week, Move On members made 40,000 calls. Actually, 40,000 calls just today. 100,000 people went to town halls and constituent town halls, because their members didn't show up, across the country. And it made a difference. Representative Walter
Jones?
Jones?
It was Jones. The word you're looking for is Jones.
He is a Republican who voted no and was going to vote no. He received 4 calls in favor of the bill on Wednesday and 800 calls against. And so the point is, we're making a difference, guys. We're stopping this guy. And that's something awesome. And that's all there is to it. We're going to use the rant wheel to close out the show. But before we do, Jesse Waters of Fox News, or maybe a high school newspaper, interviewed Donald Trump and asked several hard-hitting questions. And we just want to show you them.
President Trump, welcome back to Waters World. How does it feel? Now, the last time I spoke to you, I presented a signed photograph of myself at Trump Tower. Have you hung it on your wall yet?
Oh, absolutely.
We saw some of your returns. These people over at NBC News doing everything they can to take you down. I thought you leaked those returns yourself. It made you look good. The anti-Trump resistance, it's out there in the streets. Some of it's in the federal government. How much do you think is that genuine anger? And how much do you think that's someone like President Obama pulling the strings from behind the scenes? The media, pretty vicious, not just to you, but to your family. How do you process that? Let's do a Waters World quiz.
Okay.
Don't be nervous.
Okay, I won't.
I think you'll do just fine. Chuck Schumer, the president of CNN, and Alec Baldwin. If you had to fire one person right now, who would you fire? What is going to be done first? Building the wall or defeating ISIS?
Pause.
Are you going to pick...
Are you fucking kidding me? This isn't even play-by-play. I didn't even know if it would stop. Are you fucking kidding me? All right, let's keep going.
John,
O'Reilly.
I think he's
Great guy.
trying to...
Last one, Jesse Waters.
Tremendous future. Your agent should be very happy, and I enjoy your show. And honestly, you've been so nice to me that this is why I turn on the biggest shows on television, and here I am. It's Waters World.
And that's Jesse Waters. Jesse Waters?
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Interviewing the president. And even Donald Trump's face says, this fucking douchebag. And now for a segment we call the Rant Wheel.
They don't seem excited.
So here's how this works. The wheel spins, it stops on something, and then we're going to rant about it. I really wanted to land on missing Richard Simmons. It has landed on cable news.
Is this a group rant?
We can do it together.
How does this work?
Cable news fucking sucks.
It's a wasteland.
And so here's the thing. There's 24 hours of cable news, and they never tell you anything.
I was thinking the exact same thing. Today, I was watching cable news because I'm like, oh shit, I have to talk about politics today in public. So I'm like,
Did you learn anything?
Well, here's the thing. No. I'm like, I got to talk about this healthcare bill. So if I'm going to say it's bad, why is it bad? Not once did anyone in any of the coverage mention like what it was about.
I often feel, and I've said this before, that cable news is world-class reporters interviewing morons.
What did we think was going to happen? I mean, I blame cable news for the state we're in right now. Truly,
that's right.
I think when you have breaking news all goddamn day long,
It was up all day.
It means
Breaking
nothing.
news.
It means nothing to anybody. And when real breaking news happens, what are they going to do? Are they just going to like set the stage on fire and just start running around and go, no, for real?
Wolf
For
Blitzer's
real?
going to rip his shirt open and say, this is real. This is important.
Real.
It's finally happening. It's my time to shine.
It is like they cried wolf so much about what is real, and so now everything is just hyperbole, and they do have to interview morons because they've run out of intelligent people to bring on.
I mean,
It's
Jesse
horrible.
Waters is very intelligent, so
You'll be able to catch Lovett on MSNBC Monday.
No, and CNN Sunday.
Literally going on CNN
I'm doing a tour.
Sunday.
Hurry up and spin the wheel.
Cable news again. This bitch right here.
It's on Ivanka. People listening to the podcast.
It's on Ivanka. Here's the thing. You do not get to call yourself an advocate for women and then go to fucking Aspen the week they're trying to pass a healthcare bill that says mammograms are optional and penis pills are permanent.
I think we should spin the wheel before this gets really bad.
She's very pretty. I will add that.
Cable news again.
Oh.
Okay, I
John,
don't know this story.
This is
Very
a Boston
sad.
thing. So this is about
Katie.
this says R.I.P. Coffee Culotta, which has been discontinued by Dunkin' Donuts.
Dunkin' Donuts
What?
has ended. Yes, I thought you would know this.
What? Like effective immediately?
Immediately, there's no more coffee coladas. You can't
What?
get them. You can't have that delicious sugar from the coffee colada.
I will go on record as saying that there is nothing more delicious than the second sip of a coffee culotta. Does it go downhill from there? Sure. But the second sip, once you got that weird, like, filmy part out, the second sip is like, this is why I'm alive.
blow right past that cold headache. And
Yeah.
just finish the rest.
Done forever.
I think there's no more coffee colada because there'd be a run on them. I think they'd overwhelm the Dunkin' Donuts people.
It's a travesty.
Wait, why?
They've made a huge error.
They said why?
I don't know.
Trump did
This is
it.
good. Does
Trump
anyone
did
have
it.
the info?
Trump did it. Trump discontinued them.
Fuck, now I'm out on that guy.
Let's spin it one more time.
What is this app that you have that spins the wheel?
Oh, there you
Oh,
There you
that's
go.
all I want.
There you go.
I listened to every fucking episode of Missing Richard Simmons, and you know where he was? He was at home. And he was fine. The opening of the episode is, I love Richard Simmons, and he won't return my calls. And I think it's because he's in real trouble. But actually, turns out the host is a fucking lunatic. Richard Simmons just doesn't want to talk to anybody. He's at home, he's watching TV, he's calling Savannah Guthrie on the Today Show, his manager sees him, his brother sees him, his maid sees him. He's just like, dude, I don't want to know you. And that guy's like, I'm really great. This should be a podcast. This should lead the charts for a month to the point where Love It or Leave It can barely get over the top.
Now we know the source of the rant. Right here, guys.
The first, and by the way, the first episode, he's like, Richard Simmons has gone missing, and I think it's because his maid is a witch. Episode 8, the end of the podcast, he's like, hey guys, turns out she's a nice lady. And Richard Simmons is fine, but I learned a lot about me. Oh, did you? You stalker weirdo.
I love that you made it to episode 8 on this thing.
I genuinely thought something was wrong with Richard Simmons.
And
at
that
the
this
end,
podcast was going to reveal it.
I
for
thought
you.
by the end of the podcast, I had a theory
Not
that
news.
I actually
Not
had a-
cable news.
I actually had a theory that Richard Simmons had gained a lot of weight and was desperately trying to lose it before he saw himself in public again. And like I had a whole little theory, and I thought that was going to be the reveal, and that's why the apple is in front of his face in the picture, because the apple is just like his nemesis, right? Like it's knowledge, but also makes you fat, because like fruit is sugary and it's not paleo.
Wow, you went deep on that.
But it turns out Richard Simmons is fine. That podcast is a lie. Download, love it or leave it.
I agree with you that podcast is bad and exploitative, if that's how you say
Yes,
that word.
it is.
But it did set me up for my new hit podcast. Missing guy named Tim from the bar that I met 2 weeks ago that said he really wanted to talk and then just like never returned my calls. I think he's definitely dead. So, because otherwise there's no other reason.
From the people who
Keep
brought
going.
you cereal.
So
Finding Katie a boyfriend.
He's like J.D. Salinger, just hanging out at home.
And that's the rant wheel.
Yay.
Guys, I want to thank you all for coming to the very first episode of Love It or Leave It. I think we learned a lot about what works and a lot about what doesn't work. I want to do a preview of next week on Love It or Leave It. We'll discuss Trump's tweets insulting homeless veterans with Oprah. That sounds like a pretty cool show.
Wait, Oprah is coming on your podcast?
Yep.
Yes.
You guys got pwned.
Oprah will be here at the Improv, in the Improv Lab next week.
Oprah and Gloria Borger.
Oprah, Gloria Borger, maybe the Pope stops by. We'll see what happens.
Damn!
I love that. This is a good Pope.
This
I mean,
is a
on the
good
scale of
podcast.
popes.
He's not the young Pope.
He's not the young Pope.
He was so young.
I didn't make it to the end of that. Made the end of the Richard Simmons bullshit. Didn't make it to the end of the young fucking Pope.
Same exact turnout.
And that's Love It or Leave It. Thank you, guys. Thank you to my guests, Michaela Watkins, Katie Nolan, Jon Favreau. Thank you to the band Sure Sure for this theme song.
Sure.
Thank you to the person saying she does not want to be mentioned by name.
Tanya.
Give it up for Tanya. Give it up for Lee Eisenberg, who helped put this all together. And that's it up. Oh yeah, Jesse McLean back in the booth on the graphics.
And the dings.
I don't know how much of this we're gonna leave in.
All of it.
All of it, we're leaving it in.
Leave
All right,
it.
thank you guys.
Play us
Thank you.
out, Pro Flowers.